Believe it or not, I was able to maintain a 3.9 GPA in school while doing very, very minimal homework outside of school. Now, I didn't have less homework than my friends. I was in honors classes and AP courses, but I utilized the tips that I'm going to teach you today on how to do the majority of your homework at school and hardly ever have to take some home. Now, disclaimer, we all have to do homework at home sometimes, but I'm not joking when I say that I probably got 90% of my homework done every single day while I was at school, freeing up my time at home to focus on more important things like the boys I was dating or personal projects or time with my family. So let me share with you my secrets on how to get all of your homework done while you are at school. This one is a big mindset and focus change for a lot of students that I talk to. And that first tip is to be in class. Now, you're like, Abby, I go to class every day, or I'm there. But are you actually there? How many times have we been in class and our mind is on that text that cute boy sent us, or the fact that our boyfriend wants to talk to us after class, or that you've got something big, major happening and you just can't wait and you're so excited, and your brain is a million miles away from English. It's a million miles away from your math class. And that can cause so many problems. First of all, you're not learning on the level that you need to get and understand the concept and to be able to do your homework quickly. But also, when you're in class, you not only can utilize the time that you're there to learn and understand the material, but you can also use that time to do your assignment. What I mean when you're in class, well, it comes to a second tip, which is to do it as you go. So this was one of my biggest secrets to how I got a lot of homework done. So not only am I in class focused, phone is put away, I'm focusing all my attention on math. I have put my worries and after school plans in the back of my mind, and I'm just focused on learning. But I'm also utilizing those moments in class to do it, do the assignment as I go. How often does our teacher always assign us the same, end of chapter recap for math that we have to do those 30 problems every time, right? How often does our teacher pass us out the worksheet that we're supposed to half fill out in class and then half do at home? I want you to do it reasonably as you can go. Now, sometimes that's super easy when you have that worksheet and you fill in the answer and then your teacher gets distracted by a student's comment. Then you can flip it to the back and be like, oh, I already know this answer because we just talked about it, so I'm gonna write that one down too, right? So you start to get a little bit ahead. Now, full disclosure, this kind of depends on your teacher as well. I had some math teachers that really would give me the evil eye as they could see that they were teaching, I'm taking notes, but I also have my book open and I'm doing my assignment. I had some teachers that totally did not like that. And so I'd have to, maybe be a little bit more sneaky about it because I'm it's homework. I'm not, it's not like I'm texting during class. Or, I had other teachers that were 100% for that. And so kind of fill out your teachers, but I would highly encourage you that as you're doing the math assignment and taking the notes and learning how to do these fractions and divisions and stuff, you're actually looking at your assignments too, because a lot of times they'll parallel each other and you'll be able to say oh, hey, now I know how to do problems 1 through 4. And hey, if she takes a minute or if she has to go do something, I'm gonna go do those problems. So have your book open, have your assignment and your homework open as well as you're going through the lesson, and do it as you go. This one's a big one, and it is to utilize your lunch. Now, I totally get that the whole purpose of lunch is that you're freaking starving. So be sure that you've got food, but I, no joke, would bring a lunch with me, my snacks. I'd pack a lunch, it's in my backpack. And so I was totally prepared that if the right opportunity didn't come up, meaning, my friends were oh, hey, let's all go to lunch here. Or, my dad wasn't hey, do you want to just come home and I'll make you lunch or something like that? I had food, I was ready, and so I'd go to a room, I'd go in the lunchroom, sit by friends, but I'd also do homework. Because I totally get that sometimes we want to utilize lunch for socializing, which if that's one of your goals right now, totally go for it. But if one of your goals right now is to get through with your homework so when you're home, you can be home, I would do that, especially if your friends don't share your same lunch or maybe they're doing something during lunch. Utilize your lunch. It's like 45 minutes that you can totally 100% focus on your homework. I bet the majority of you don't do 45 minutes of homework at home. So utilize your lunch. And I'm being genuine. Some days I would go and just 100% be off on my own and like bust through assignments or really hard projects. And sometimes I'd be chatting all with my friends and have my math open and be doing it there too. So find what works for you, but do not let that time pass by without it serving a purpose. Whether that's to do your homework, to socialize, to decompress for a minute, never waste your lunch. Now, this tip is to push through it. This comes when we all have those moments we're in class and our teacher says, hey, let's use the last 20 minutes, get in your groups and do your homework, or you guys can chat and stuff, but I really hope you do your homework, blah, blah, blah. Majority of teens are going to pull out their cell phone and start texting somebody. They are going to start just chatting with their friends and they're not actually going to do the assignment, or they're going to very like haphazardly go through it and maybe get 1 or 2 problems done. I want to challenge you to push through it and get the assignment done. Now, this is really easy if you're in a class where you feel like you don't have we always have friends, right? Like those people we casually sit by and stuff. But if you don't have somebody that's like, oh, let's go chat, or, I'm trying to get this cute boy to ask me to dance, like push through and like tell yourself, I'm going to focus like crazy. And for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to see how absolutely far I can get in this assignment. Instead of just being like, well, I'm going to do an assignment and I'm going to text my bestie that I'll meet her for lunch at this time. Like just 1000% focus on it. Now, I do know and I do remember what it was like to be in high school. And so sometimes you're not going to push through your assignment while you're at school because you are taking that time to go flirt with that boy that you really like, right? Or you need to go talk to your best friend who's having a hard day that you have that class with, right? Sometimes that's not going to happen and you got to be the one that makes that decision of like, hey, I'm going to go talk to Hottie Josh over here, see if maybe there's something there between us, do this assignment with him, and yeah, we'll get 3 done, but I'm going to work on that relationship. Or, hey, I'm going to be this support for my friend who just went through a breakup. Knowing that that's going to translate to either, okay, now I got to do this during lunch, or I got to go do this at home. But if that's not the case, push through it. Now, this tip is going to make all the difference for you in not necessarily how much homework that you either do at school and have to bring home, but just like your level of mental energy. And so it's this tip, which is to put your focus where it counts. Now, what do I mean by this? So when I was in high school, I was really great at math. And so math wasn't that big of a deal for me. And I actually was in an advanced class. And so you'd actually have a lesson and then your next period would be a working session where you could do your homework. So I didn't need to focus too hard on math to be able to squeeze that all in a day. Now, physics, on the other hand, kicked my butt. I just did not understand it. I wasn't grasping those concepts, but it was my science credit that I needed to graduate. And so that's where I needed to put my focus. So when I was in math, yes, I could talk and joke with my buddies and casually do my assignment because I always knew I had time to finish it and I understood it so that if I had to go home and be on my own, I could do it and it wouldn't be too much of a strain, mentally, physically, emotionally, right? Physics, on the other hand, I utilized every second in that class. I wasn't very social because I was focusing. I was trying to learn. And then if we had any time, I'd pull my desk up to some of my friends and I'd be like, guys, help me understand this. Let's bust through this. Because that's where my focus needed to be. Because if I got home with physics homework, I was so unmotivated. you're overwhelmed by it. You don't even want to pick it up. You're like, well, I'll just like fake a couple answers and like maybe, you know, just write some fluff in here. Like, so that was so mentally draining and took so much more time than even just taking home a math or an English assignment. Or some assignments are super fun for us to work on. And so we actually want to schedule things. And I remember scheduling like with this cute boy that I ended up marrying later. I said, hey, let's do our psychology homework at my house after school today, where we had to like color shields. Like, super fun thing that could turn into something social, right? So I didn't put my focus on getting that homework done. I put my focus on getting the homework done that I felt like was mentally straining for me, and I'd be very lost, very like time heavy investment to do this on my own at home. So be sure that you know your subjects that you want to focus in on class. Okay, you are now armed with all of the tips that you need to know to get the majority of your homework done at school. And I'm not joking when I say that these are 100% the tips that I use to keep up an extremely high GPA, honors, AP courses, and have very, very minimal homework that I had to do at home. So I hope these tips helped you out. If they did, please, give this a thumbs up, subscribe, and be on the lookout for some more videos that I have about how to master high school, because that's what my channel is all about, is mastering, this teenage journey to young adulthood. So cannot wait to see you in my next video. Abbi J out.